this is Mike Filipov from PracticeGuitarNow.com, and today I want to talk to you about finger independence for your fretting hand. This is something I'm asked about quite a lot by guitar players around the world, but as you can guess from the title of this video, my answer to this question and this topic goes against all common sense. The reality is that most fretting hand exercises that people give you to promote finger independence are really a total waste of time. Although there are thousands of exercises that exist that different people claim to be effective, if you look at how many guitar players practice all of these exercises for months and years but still don't have good finger independence in their fretting hand, that should tell you that something must be wrong with these exercises. The first part of the problem lies with guitar players themselves, because too many people expect or assume that simply by practicing a certain set of finger independence exercises or by looking for the next secret or special way of moving their fingers on the guitar is going to develop their fretting hand independence. That is why you see so many people practice the standard 1, 2, 3, 4 chromatic exercises or do trills and expect their fretting hand independence to develop from that. And it is this expectation and this over-reliance on abstract finger exercises that is the problem in this case, because it is misleading you into thinking that you need a certain set of exercises to build finger independence. That's not at all how this skill is developed. You build finger independence with everything you practice. All the licks, all the scales, all arpeggios, all songs, literally everything you play on guitar can be used as means to build finger independence. But you must understand how to practice all of these things in a certain way that makes finger independence develop. And I'm going to talk more about that later in this video. For now, I want to drive home the point that it's not a certain set of exercises that you haven't found yet that is holding you back from developing finger independence. It's the fact that you've never learned how to practice in general to develop finger independence that is holding you back. The second big reason why most exercises that are promoted as finger independence builders are no good is because many of them require you to use both hands at the same time to play the notes. A classic example of this is the standard 1, 2, 3, 4 chromatic finger exercise. When you play the exercise, you have to use your pick to play the notes, and you have to fret the notes with the fretting hand. What that leads to is using only 50% of your awareness and your mind to focus on developing finger independence, because the other 50% is being taken up by focusing on what the picking hand is doing. So now that you understand why most exercises are a waste of time, here are some tips on how to practice to develop your finger independence. The first and most important rule of developing fretting hand finger independence is to be very, very, very patient. This is not a skill that you can develop in just a week or 2 weeks or a month or even 2 months. So don't rush into this expecting instant results, because it's not going to happen. Be prepared for it to take a considerable amount of time. How long is it going to take? I can't tell you that. It's going to take as long as it needs to take. So just be prepared and be patient. In addition, you must understand that sometimes it will feel like you're not making any progress at all, even though you're consistently practicing to develop this skill. Finger independence develops in kind of a funny way, in that sometimes it may feel like you're just staying at the same level and not getting anywhere, but the fact is that all the practicing you're doing is just compounding upon itself, and once you reach a critical point, it will be like a nuclear reaction going off, and all the practicing you will have done up until that point is going to finally come together and allow you to play with much better finger independence than you could play just a week ago. So realize that sometimes it will feel like you're making little or no progress, but it will eventually compound upon itself and you have a big breakthrough. This is the exact way that I developed my fretting hand finger independence after months of practicing and not feeling like I was getting anywhere, but all of a sudden, boom, I had a huge breakthrough as a result of all the practicing I've done in the weeks and months prior. The next tip that will help you to actually develop your fretting hand finger independence is to break everything down into very, very, very small, tiny motions. You're not going to develop finger independence by thinking in terms of licks or patterns, as in, I'm going to practice this legato sequence and hope to develop my finger independence. No, you need to think in very small micro elements of motions. For example, you may notice that when you're playing and every time your fretting hand ring finger is pressing down a note, your pinky finger shoots up. So that is the problem that you need to fix to become better at having your fingers be more independent. Don't simply rush through and play the entire scale pattern or whatever you're working on when you know that a particular problem like this exists. So this is the foundational element of moving your fingers that you need to refine before you add lots of different notes and worry about other stuff. So isolate this particular movement of just pressing down the note with the ring finger and work on getting the pinky finger to stay relaxed as you do that, if that is your problem. If your problem is that the middle finger is tensing up, then you focus on that. The point is, don't be distracting yourself by playing too many notes. When you notice a specific problem that exists and that is persistently occurring throughout your guitar playing, isolate just that issue and focus on that like a laser and fix it. And that will make everything you play much better once that problem is fixed. One other thing I want to mention is that even if you struggle a lot with fretting hand finger independence, and if you feel that you really want to improve in this area, it would be a big mistake to suddenly drop everything else from your practicing and just focus 100% of your overall practice time just on developing finger independence. First of all, if you do this, you're going to bore yourself to death, and second, you must also be developing all other areas of your guitar playing. Fretting hand finger independence, as important as it is not any more important than all the other areas that make you into a guitar player and musician. So don't lose sight of the big picture and don't let your skills get out of balance. And the third tip I have for you regarding your finger independence is to not worry about playing at a certain metronome tempo when you practice for finger independence. In fact, turn the metronome off and don't even worry about playing at a specific tempo. And focus entirely on just refining the finger movements and having them be totally perfect. This may require you to slow down and move way slower than you've ever practiced guitar before, just to get the specific problem of finger independence resolved. For example, a moment ago I mentioned that if your ring finger is causing your pinky finger to rise up when the ring finger is pressing down a note, then that is a specific problem you need to isolate and fix. And if you find that you can't get this motion under control even after slowing down, then you need to slow down even more until you can. And after doing this and repeating the new movement enough times to make sure that you can do it correctly, only then it's time to take out the metronome and see how well this new technical habit is holding up in your playing as you test yourself through higher and higher tempos. This is the only way to make finger independence truly permanent in your guitar technique. So that's it for this video. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button below to like the video. If you're not a subscriber yet, subscribe to the channel to get notified of all new videos I create to help improve your guitar playing. If you have any questions or comments for me, leave them down below. I reply to all questions. You can also email me at mike@practiceguitarnow.com. I reply to all emails.